What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to go over and unlock the Platinum Trophy for the co-op adventure game Split Fiction. Split Fiction was developed by the studio Hazelight, the developers of A Way Out, and previous Game of the Year winner It Takes Two. Just like those previous games, Split Fiction is played entirely online or locally via split screen, and the entire game is meant to be played with a partner. I do have both the Platinum Trophies for A Way Out and It Takes Two, so I definitely want to add this game into my collection. So let's jump right into it. There's 21 trophies including the Platinum you need to unlock, and it's extremely easy with the use of a guide. For anyone who's never played Split Fiction, this video is going to contain lots of spoilers, so just want to give a heads up. We start the game off by meeting Mio and Zoe. Throughout the entire playthrough, I played as Mio, who is typically on the left side of the screen when the screen is split. The two main characters are aspiring writers invited to test a simulation device created by Raider Publishing. JD Raider is the CEO and he promises they'll experience their submitted stories firsthand. Mio senses something off about Raider and tries to back out at the last minute, and Raider just demands her that she follows through and a scuffle happens, causing her to accidentally fall into Zoe's bubble, which was never meant to hold two people, and it starts glitching out. The two characters are trapped inside their simulated stories that they each wrote. All of Mio's stories are sci-fi related, while Zoe's are more fantasy, and you jump between the two genres. They go throughout the stories and are trying to find these cracks in the simulation to save their stories, as they find out Raider's master plan is to steal all the ideas of the writers that applied for the simulation. One could say that it's going to take the two of them to find a way out of this situation.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Throughout the game, you'll find these portals that transport you to another short story. One of the trophies is to find all the portals and play through each of the shorter stories, so I went through each one as I found them. Some of the trophies are within these short stories, but a good amount of them are honestly really cool to play, even though they take you away from the main storyline. We pop our first trophy here in Chapter 2 by destroying this glass bridge with people walking on it. Most of the trophies in this game are very easy and straightforward, just like the previous Hazelight games, so with a guide it's very easy like I mentioned earlier. A few moments later, we stumbled upon this giant stuffed elephant from It Takes Two. The one playing Zoe just has to interact with it a few times, and we get another trophy. Most of the trophies will pop for both players upon unlocking them. The characters typically make some sort of comment whenever they see a short story portal, so me and my partner hopped into this one, and it's a fantasy story of us turning the pigs. Yeah, this game's just all over the place. Anyways, the next two trophies we unlock is these pigs. For one of them, the player using Mio has to dash into this giant pig's stomach, and a little later on, the same player will dash behind this pig's home made out of bricks, destroying it in the process. We exited the side story and continued traveling throughout the neon city, until we reached this giant building that had this robot behind the front desk. The robot was really nice at first until my intrusive thoughts kicked in and I started whacking it with my sword, and it definitely wanted its get back. At least I popped another trophy. There was one last trophy opportunity in this chapter, but my partner was having a tough time unlocking it for us, as only the player using Zoe can unlock it. Luckily, the game does have chapter select, so we could just come back to this one and moved on to chapter 3. In chapter 3, move on to one of Zoe's fantasy stories where the two MCs become shapeshifters. Mio can turn into a gorilla and an otter looking thing, while Zoe can become a fairy and Groot. No, that's literally Groot.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
We continued on when we stumbled upon this swing. After messing with it for a bit, I pushed my partner a little bit too hard and unlocked another trophy for it. We found another short story, and the theme of this one was a game show. The characters are instructed by this robotic host that they have to go through a series of obstacle courses, while holding a ticking time bomb. The bomb resets whenever you pass it to your partner and vice versa. There is a trophy tied to this part where you have to complete the entire game show without dying or letting the bomb explode. It definitely took a handful of tries, but luckily there's chapter select, so whenever we died we would just start all over from the beginning. Best tip is to just take your time and reset the bomb whenever you could by passing it, and we eventually did complete it. To get past this chapter, we have to make our way towards the Ice King's castle and defeat him. Along the way, we found this dancing monkey and he had us complete these series of minigames before he allowed us to move on to the next part. Once he let us go, we were getting closer and closer to the castle, and I found these snowballs by this viewpoint, and by throwing all of them out in the open, I popped another trophy with this bird just randomly spawning out of nowhere. We arrived at the Ice King's castle to find out that the Ice King's actually a little cute cat. Well, at least he was for a bit. We eventually defeated him and moved along to chapter 4, which was another one of Mio's sci-fi stories. Midway through chapter 4, we enter another side story that Zoe had written. This one we had to find some ghost cats to complete it, and there were a couple more trophies that we were able to unlock in this one. For the first one, I had to pick up this star wand and use it on my partner to turn him into a chair, and once I took a seat on them, one of the trophies unlocked. For the other one, we had to create some magic potions from this list and drink each combination that is showed on the board. Trying each potion turned us into a different thing, and upon drinking the last one, popped our 10th trophy. We don't get another trophy for a bit until we hit this part of the chapter where the game plays like a side scroller and there's a bunch of portals that we have to go through to continue on. While going through this set of portals, you can use your momentum to enter this secret area to unlock a trophy, and we got a nice reference from the game portal. We made our way to the Overseer, who was the final boss of this chapter, and defeated him by chopping his head off, and that allows us to move on to chapter 5. We start off chapter 5 with this really random cutscene of Zoe hitting these different poses, and she explains that this story is revolved around the two girls getting these eggs that hatch these baby dragons that they have to utilize to run away from this giant monster dragon called the Megalith. While trying to get away from the megalith, we wanted to take a breather and enjoy the view on this bench, and there is a trophy to sit on all 6 benches in the game, but we're going to take care of that one later on. Mio's dragon has the ability to glide while Zoe's dragon can climb. I noticed some type of fruit growing and I decided to give my dragon a snack and pop the feed me trophy in the process. We managed to get some swords so we could have a fighting chance against the megalith, and luckily enough both of our dragons also evolved, so we were able to defeat him and move on to the next chapter. We move on to chapter 6, where it appears that Mio has no idea what story they are in, as she doesn't recognize anything around them or what's going on. Her and Zoe come to the conclusion that they are in Mio's subconscious and they have to utilize these moving spears to escape. Mio's spear can hack into things and change its form, while Zoe's can repel objects or surfaces and also stick to them. We continued on throughout Mio's subconscious, where we got to a part where Mio's spear had to take shape of a little boat to get Zoe's spear across some water. We saw a section of the water bubbling up and went over there just to investigate, just to only get eaten by a random shark and popped another trophy. We then got into this situation where we had to sneak by these robots and my partner hid inside this box to hide. I kinda shot at the box with his laser and popped the snake trophy, which was a nice reference to Metal Gear Solid. I then hacked into this robot that had a long taser and extended it to allow my partner to cross this gap. I then used the taser on them and unlocked the Tase the Confused trophy, and I'm noticing this whole chapter I'm just putting my partner in these unfortunate situations, but I got a platinum to get. This trophy specifically didn't unlock for my partner, so we did have to switch real quick and redo it for them to unlock it. We then found a cage, and if you go up to this control panel while one of the players is sitting inside the cage and trap them within it, you unlock the last trophy within this chapter. It's then revealed that the dark side of Mio's subconscious would be the one we would have to defeat to move on, and we successfully do. The next chapter, we were trapped inside Zoe's subconscious, and there aren't any trophies we can unlock within this one, so I'll just start covering the final act. As Mio and Zoe were pursuing the glitches and side stories throughout our adventure, it kept on damaging Raider's machine, causing him to go insane. In a final attempt to save his life's work, he tried to enter the bubble that the MCs were in to try to stop us himself. He ends up being our final boss, and we have to take him down numerous times to escape the simulation. I will say that the last boss fight was by far the best one in the game, and it really felt like a grand finale. I'm trying to keep the spoilers in this video to a minimum, so I won't say too much about it, but it was really dope to play. After a multi-stage fight against Raider, we ended up defeating him in the end and finally getting out of the machine that was keeping these two hostage. Raider ends up getting arrested and our two MCs are finally free. A time skip happens and we are shown a cutscene of Mio standing by the grave of one of her parents. Zoe comes along and shares the news that they finally published a book that they both wrote. The book was about their adventures within Raider Simulation that they titled Split Fiction. They started the game as complete strangers but ended up as best friends and as published authors like they both dreamed of. The credits start to roll and we pop a trophy for finishing the story. For the remaining trophies, we needed to use chapter select and we went all the way back to chapter 2. As mentioned earlier in the video, there is a trophy here that only the player using Zoe can unlock. While the two characters are getting chased by these goons, Zoe has to go through these terms and conditions to stop an explosion from happening on her cell phone, while Mio drives a motorbike and you do have a little over a minute to complete it. After a few more attempts, my partner was able to complete it and you unlock the You Are Not a Robot trophy. We were missing one last side story that we needed to complete, and this was also located in chapter 2. Typically the characters would mention the story portal whenever we saw it, but they did it for this one, which is how we missed it the first time. The side stories were a nice break from the main storyline and there was so much creativity poured behind them as they were really well done. Glad I got to do them all. The last trophy we needed was to sit on all 6 benches in the game. We used chapter select and a guide on all their locations to save some time and we finally unlocked the platinum trophy for Split Fiction. Playing this game was a great experience, and getting the platinum trophy was overall a breeze just like the previous Hazelight games. I tried my best not to spoil too much of the game as I would highly recommend playing it yourself with a friend, and the best thing is only one player has to purchase the game for both of them to play it. Whenever Hazelight releases another game, I will 100% go out to play it and go for its platinum trophy. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like or comment regarding your thoughts, and if you want to see more platinum videos, subscribe. And I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.